Off Meta Tuesday. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Off Meta Tuesday. This time, because I'm a day late, I had some stuff going on. I got really busy. I started doing new jobs, repping on my job shirts, whole thing, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, welcome to Off Meta Tuesday. Today we're going to be talking about Magellan, who is from OPO2, and is honestly a big purple piece of doo-doo. He's the IBS captain and the warden of Impel Down, and what is there to say about him? Not a lot, honestly. You can tuck a Dawn, gains 1,000 power, only in your turn. It's very narrow. There's not a lot to work with, so we kind of had a little bit of difficulties with the deck list. And speaking of the deck list, let's go ahead and get into it because I had to borrow a lot of inspiration for this one, and I'm interested to see what you guys think about it. Let's do it. So getting into the deck, like I said, I needed a little bit of inspiration with this guy because with the leader being kind of like shitty, I didn't really know where to go because like I've never played an Impel Down deck. I've only ever really seen Hannibal be played, and so I was like, what do I do? So I went and I looked at the One Piece trading card game community Discord, and I found this little list right here. If I can find it, I'll scroll up a little bit here, by Aesop's Crow. Yeah, this guy right here. Found this list, played a couple games with it. I didn't really know how I felt about it, so I took some cards out, put some cards in, and this is what I ended up settling on. So starting off with the event package, I've got 2 copies of Gum Gum Jet Gatling as a free ability to counter, and on trigger it'll get us rampant, it'll let us Rampant Dawn, right? So there's nothing to scoff at there. I debated on playing the new Divine Departure, but I thought being able to ramp the Dawn was a little bit better than the activated ability of the Divine Departure, so I went with Gatling instead. Next up, we've got 4 copies of the Hydra, which is 1 Dawn, Dawn -1, give it to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power during this turn, and on trigger, if your opponent has 6 or more Dawn, they have to send 1 back to their deck. So this is a good way to help swing wide on the board, and it's just an automatic trigger of our leader ability, so that's pretty cool there, and it plays into some other cards we have in the deck later on, right? Hi, Kuma Bear. Hey, buddy. Next up, we've got 4 copies of Hell's Judgment. This is also Dawn -1 for 2 Dawn. Give up to 2 of your opponent's leaders or characters minus 3,000 power during this turn. Same thing with the on trigger effect as Hydra, right? Next up, you've got 3 copies of Slow Beam Sword, which is 2 Dawn, Dawn -1, give up to 1 character leader, plus 2,000 power for this battle, then rest up to 1 of your opponent's characters. This is just here to help rest other characters, to help them from going super wide into us. Like they swing with 1 character, we pop this, shrink 1 of their guys so we don't take the hit, and then rest 1 of the characters on board so they can't swing with that one. Pretty easy, or you rest like a blocker or something like that so you can get it in the clap back on the next turn, right? It's nothing super crazy. You see this card in a lot of purple decks, especially a lot of off-meta purple decks, right? So then getting into the 2Ks, I've got 4 copies of this Nami. It's 3 cost, 2K power, 2K counter. On play, return 1 or more Dawn to your Dawn deck and attach 2 rested Dawn to one of your leader characters. This is a good way to help build up Magellan and go super tall with him. Or you can like power up your board a little bit, which I don't know, you don't really do that so much. It's kind of mostly in here just for the 2K, but going tall with the leader is something you can do in the early game that's easy to kind of, you can tuck up multiple Dawns or play multiple Namis in a row or whatever, or play this Nami and play other things and go minus and Dawn, and then get it back with 4 copies of the Black Maria, which is here, not because we have a lot of Dawn minus effects, but like I said just a second ago, so we can stack Dawn, right? You can do a lot of stacking of Dawn minus effects and not feel bad about going too far down, because you can get it back with the Black Maria, right? Next up, you've got 3 copies of the Little Sadie, who is a 2K on play Dawn -1. If your leader has the Impel Down type, rest up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less. This is super good to rest those like little 2K blockers that are running around and things like that, or like certain 3 cost things like the Tashigi that green decks play, things like that. So that way you can kind of get in on those characters, or get around those characters rather. This honestly should probably be a 4 of, but I've got it a 3 of just because, I don't know, I kind of value the Black Maria a little bit more, because I'd like to play, a lot of events. Bless you, buddy. I'd like to play a lot of events in a row and not feel super bad about going down on Dawn, right? Last up for the 2Ks, we've got 4 copies of this Beppo, who says, when a Dawn card on your field is returned to your Dawn deck, up to one of your leader or characters gains 1,000 power during this turn. This is super good to, again, go super tall with the leader, just like with the Nami. Kind of same thing, but this is something that sticks on the board, which can be super nice because you can stack multiple of these guys and make it, you know, pretty pesky for the opponent to get around if they don't have a lot of ways to clear 2Ks off the board, because you don't really have to swing with these guys. You can keep them in for late game or what have you, right? Next up for weird little flex pieces, I've got this 3 copies of Perospero. Didn't really know where to talk about this guy in the list. He kind of fits odd. On KO, set up to one of your Dawn from your Dawn deck is rested. He's 3 cost 5k, just a solid body that plays itself on trigger. Next up, we've got 4 copies of the 5 cost Magellan. He's a 5 cost 6k, says on play, Dawn -1. Your opponent has to tuck a Dawn back to their Dawn deck, and on their turn, if they KO him, they've got to tuck 2 Dawn back to their Dawn deck. This is a crazy good tempo piece. You see this in a lot of purple decks that can play it nowadays, especially in this 3 Kings meta, because it can kind of set some of those decks back in a pretty good, you know, punishing their tempo kind of way. I don't know, I'm tripping over my words. I'm a little stoned. Next up, you got 4 copies of the 5 cost Kid. He is a blocker that says when a Dawn is returned to your Dawn deck, you can add 1 back active. So this just helps keep us on tempo if we don't see Black Maria, or if we don't want to cast her and we just want to keep her in pitcher as a 2k. These 5 cost 6k, so it's a decently solid body. A lot of things can get around it. Doesn't hit that 6k threshold that we want to see against things like Emu, but we're not playing this deck into things like Emu, so don't even fucking worry about it. Next up, we've got 4 copies of the 5 cost Rosinante. It's kind of why we're heavy on this event package, because we want to be able to pitch events to draw cards off of Rosinante's on play. And then end of turn, if you have 7 or more Dawn, you can set 2 of them as active, so this also helps keep our events alive. Next up, we've got 4 copies of the 6 cost 7k Ivankov. It says if you have 4 or more event cards in your trash, this character gains blocker. On KO, add up to 1 event from your trash to your hand. This is extra way to help us recur some of those events that we're pitching off of Rosinante or of just playing them, and gives us blocker, you know, on a body that can't be KO'd by, you know, Emu abilities or most targeted event removal rate without any kind of cost reduction, rather. And it's a decently solid body, being a 7k. You can't really complain about 7ks. Those are kind of the number to hit right now. So yeah, we love Ivankov. And then we've got 3 copies of the Charlotte Katakuri. It's the 8 cost 8k blocker that we all know and love nowadays. You can't play him in blue purple Luffy. This card is just going to be an 8k swing every turn that turns itself back up, so that way you can block on the clapback and you don't really have to worry about it. That's the deck list. I hope you guys made it through it as best I could do it. Let's get to the games and see how they went. Okay, so getting into game 1, we are up against Starter Deck Luffy, and this is the original version of the list. This is Aesop's Crow version of the deck list before I made any changes to it, and I wanted to show you at least a game of it and then a game of my version of the deck, just to give you guys a look at what both of them are trying to do. So he's going to drop a small Luffy here, and I am going to just attach a Dawn, swing in for 6, and see where we can go. And then we're going to cast the Event Searcher, hit nothing, unfortunately. Have to send all those down to the bottom. That's going to come back to bite us later on in this game. He's going to play the Film Searcher Luffy, hit nothing also, so it's not too bad for us. Attach some Dawn, get in for 5. We're going to pitch the Ivankov for counter here. And we're going to take the second 5 just to see and get some extra cards. Back on turn, we've got 5 Dawn to spare, so we'll get in with the Magellan, force him to tuck a Dawn. That's going to give us the buff, and then we'll get in for 6 over his small Luffy here. Let's see if he lets us have it. And it looks like he's going to counter out to save it. That's pretty good for him. This Luffy being able to buff himself for just a few Dawn is pretty good. He's dropping the big Rush Luffy, getting in for 6, attaching a Dawn, getting in for 5. We'll counter out, and he's swinging in again, and this one will take. He's really just peltering us here, and we have to take all of this down to 2 life already, which is very unfortunate for us, but we did hit the Perospero, so we'll be able to go over that Searcher Luffy, try to go over the small Luffy. He lets us have it. And here we have to make a decision of attacking on the Rush Luffy or playing one of our 5-cost characters. I opted to play the 5-cost character and just know he's going to be able to counter out of the 6k swing onto a 6k. And he punishes us for that by dropping the anti-blocker Luffy. So this Luffy deck is very Luffy-pilled right now, and I don't really see much of a way for us to out this at this point because it's so fast. He's going to get in for 7. We should have burned our blocker here, but I opted just to go ahead and let him have it so we can save our blocker for at least the leader swing. But he sequences it pretty good, and we have no choice but to just take it. And now on our turn, we'll be able to at least get rid of the anti-blocker Luffy by casting the Hydra to get our leader buff, shrinking that guy by 3k, swinging on 7, and we end up getting it here. He lets us have it, and then we can go. Here, thinking about it, looking back on it, I probably shouldn't have casted the 5-cost Katakuri. I should have not Katakuri, the 5-cost Kid. I should have casted the 7-cost Kid to get the leader buff and start pouring that in, because he just KOs it on his turn and clears our board by shrinking us with the 3 kids there. So we're just gonna go 5k with leader swing. He takes it because he wants the cards in his hand, and then we have a choice to make of drawing cards or getting a Katakuri down. I chose to draw cards here, and we're going to go ahead and cast a Perospero off of this, end our turn, and restand to Dawn. We've got no events to play, so restanding this Dawn doesn't really do us any good. And here he's going to pretty much clear us out by casting that Rush Luffy, attaching a Dawn. He's going to go 6k. We can counter out of that to save ourselves. We'll draw a card. It's a Katakuri. Doesn't help us. We're pretty fucking bricked up right now. Pause. But yeah, I don't think there's a way for us to get out of this. We can at least KO the Rush Luffy, drop a Katakuri, try to figure this out, swing in for 5. We probably gave him too many cards here, but like I said, we even missed our trigger here because it's pretty much over. Yeah, go ahead and give it to him. That's the game. Let's get into game 2 and see if we can try any better once we've kind of changed the deck a little bit, right? So let's get into it. Okay, so getting into game 2, we are up against RP Uda. Going first, we're going to choose to mulligan this hand, see if we can't get anything better. We don't really get much better, but we'll be all right. We'll be able to go first, and we get to play a little bit on curve with our Beppo here. So his turn 2 here, his turn 1 rather, with 2 Dawn, he's going to go for the Searcher, grabbing a Zephyr and dropping the Raise Max. On our turn, we're just going to go Dawn onto our leader, swing 6, which he lets us have, and then we're going to drop the 2-cost Beppo to get it on the board, but he's going to hit the trigger off of that to ramp it on. Kind of unfortunate for us because we're both purple decks, so him ramping Dawn is just going to put us that much, or put him that much closer to getting over on us. So he's swinging 5. Let's see, I think we're going to just take it here. We get the little Sadie off of our life. We'll counter out with the Ivankov on his second swing, and he's dropping the Film Searcher Luffy to grab a Shanks. Our turn, we're going to go ahead and get rid of that Raise Max so he can't use it on us later, and we'll just drop the Roshinante, pitching a Hydra and drawing 2 cards, hitting double 2Ks, which is going to be pretty beneficial for us to stave off some damage here in a little bit. Let's see, he's thinking pretty hard on his turn. Okay, so he's throwing some Dawn onto the Luffy, swinging at us. We'll just pitch the 5-cost Kit there, swinging at us again for 5k. I think we just go ahead and pitch a 2k, which is kind of unfortunate to overpay for it, but I mean, we have plenty of surplus. He's going to play a Guild Tesoro on his turn before passing it off. So we'll swing on the Film Searcher Luffy, go ahead and get rid of that, drop the Magellan to push his tempo off, make him force a card out of his Dawn pile, and then we're going to get the buff onto our leader, get the buff from Dawn minusing, get that 7k swing in, 7k swing in. He takes both hits. We are good to go. He's got a huge grip, so whatever he plays could be pretty detrimental to us, but I think we've got pretty good advantage going into this next turn that I think will be okay, especially if we hit some of those Peros off of life. So he's buffing himself with the King Kong Gatling there, swinging 6k over onto the Beppo, 8k into our Rocinante, which I'm pretty sure we should probably counter out for here. It's probably our best bet to kind of save ourselves, even though he's shrinking us down. So yeah, we'll go ahead and pitch that out to save the Rocinante. He's going to raise max our Magellan and then presumably KO it with whatever he drops down. No, I don't know why he dropped the raise max then. Kind of wasteful, but he just double Shariahs us, which doesn't matter because we have the little Sadie. Little Sadie's going to rest that Shariah because it hits exactly 3 costs, which is so mint. We'll throw some down on Rocinante, swing in for 8. He blocks with 1. We'll swing in 8 again. We've already got the down minus effect off the little Sadie, so we'll get another 8k swing in like we're playing Kuzan, and that is the W. So those are the games. Let's get into the end section and see what the fuck I'm blabbing about. So that was Magellan, and honestly, I'm not a big fan. I think if you're going to play an Impel down leader, Hannibal is a much better pick, as you get access to blue, and you just get to do more things on your return because of the leader ability. It's just a little bit more interactive than Magellan's, you know, static buff once a turn. It's just kind of bland, right? If you want to play the goofy little altar leader of him, I think he's got that derpy face, you know? I totally see the vision, but it won't be me anytime soon. However, if you enjoyed the gameplay, if you liked what you saw and you want to see more, I'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. As always, this has been your host, Flaffic. We'll catch you next time on Flaffic's Fleet TCG.